This class is concerned with e-customers. We're going to try to determine the characteristics of the e-customers and distinguish these characteristics from customers of more conventional, more traditional forms of shopping, so-called bricks and mortar experiences. So the internet customer. Well, the internet customer is different from traditional customers in the following respects. They access product information from global suppliers. The internet customer, when the internet customer shops, they shop globally, they shop online, and the internet does not have boundaries. It may cut across several boundaries. So a company selling a particular product, let's say in America, may experience sales from customers in Europe. Now, traditional shops are limited geographically. Generally speaking, their customers come from within a certain radius. But online customers may come from different continents. The online customers are also open to new concepts. They tend to be more technologically savvy. They tend to be more technologically advanced, and they're prepared to take on new ideas and look at new ways of shopping and new ways of payments, and so they're much more adventurous than traditional shoppers, and they accept risks more easily. They're paying perhaps by credit card. They're entering their credit card details online, and they do it. And they do it and accept that what they're doing is secure, even though the recipient of the payment, as I said, may be in another continent, maybe the other side of the world. People they've never met, they have no experience of. And they also tend to be more critical. You know, why can't I do that? What's limiting me? Why do I have to do it this way? Why can't I do it that way? They're much more critical and much more challenging for the sales people. The salespeople have to create sites that address the needs of the online customer, and the needs of the online customer are quite sophisticated. They're also online because they're looking for value. They're looking for a good product at a good price. They're looking for a good experience. They want good delivery. They want it secure. They don't want any hassle. They don't want problems. So they are quite demanding customers. When customers meet face to face with the seller, there may be some tolerance towards some issues. They're dealing as humans, one with one, so they tend to be a little give and take. Whereas online, there is no face-to-face contact, and the online customers are quite demanding. They want to have good value, good delivery. They want to have a good experience. So they're more independent. They want to customize orders quickly and easily. They want their orders sewn up quickly and easily. They want enter a few details, make the purchase, press a button, and that's it done. Wait for the delivery. They don't need to waste time in considering any aspects of the purchase, or they don't. Once they know what the product is, and once they know that the product has got certain attributes and that's what they're looking for, they want a quick experience. Click on it and it's done. Now, defining the internet customer. The idea of the internet customer as anybody who makes purchases via the internet is too narrow. So an internet customer is not just someone who makes purchases via the internet. It may be that we're looking at customers as customers of content on the internet, where content, I should say, can include tangible goods and services and information. So we're looking at customers of content, people who look at websites and get a feel from the website. The website should portray the type of company they want to deal with. A professional company, well designed, well laid out. The whole experience is easy to handle. So they're looking for content, and they're looking at the presentations of the businesses through their websites. And where content, it can be tangible goods and services and information. So they could shop online for a physical product. They can shop online for services. Or they could shop online for information. But whatever they're shopping for, they want to have a good experience, and they want the site to be easily navigable, well presented, efficient, well structured. So when we define the internet customer, we would think of an internet community. This includes the people who read emails, that's part of the internet community, readers of company websites, online subscribers to newsletters, and direct online purchases. So we've got a list of people who use the internet on a regular basis. The people who read emails and use it for communications, the people who access websites and browse websites, just generally shopping online. And we have the subscribers to newsletters, people who are interested in particular things, particular products, particular companies, particular events, particular hobbies, whatever, and they subscribe to newsletters. And we have the people who make online purchases. So who is the internet customer? Well, the number of online customers is constantly growing, and for certain products, for example downloadables, represents the bulk of the market. So music downloads are very large compared to high street sales of music on CD or on more traditional formats. So online customers are becoming a really big group. So much so now that when sales periods crop up in the real shopping experience, when sales periods crop up, they're taking into account the requirements of online customers as well. So there can be sales online. IBM considers the success of a product in an e-business content to depend on 6 factors. And the 6 factors listed by IBM are the target market should consist of computer users. Well, it's online, so it's fairly obvious there should be computer users. They should be interested in the technology and not afraid of the technology, so it should be early adopters. They should have above levels of average levels of income. They should be able to afford what they see and become effective customers, not just browsers. And they should be familiar with the technology and with the network, with the various processes that are involved in making a purchase. So they should have above average levels of education. Basic levels of education do not meet the requirements here. And according to IBM, there should be a gender balance. The products offered online should be attractive to both genders. Now the second of the 6 factors sorry, that was the first set I've just gone through. The second set is the product itself. Well, the product should be computer related. Although nowadays there is widespread acceptance that virtually any product can be purchased online, providing it can be delivered. Ideally, however, products don't have to be touched or tried before purchase. Those are the ideal products for online delivery. So they don't need to be touched. Many products, before we make the purchase, we like to see the product, the physical product, look ahead, touch it, and experience the product. The product should be simple and easy to understand, and it should also be easy to ship. It should be easy to send, dispatch and send, so that a thriving internet business can develop. Places like Amazon have got this off to a fine art. They're able to make deliveries within a very short time scale, and they have the technologies and the know-how to be able to handle high volumes of goods. But ideally, the products should be standardized. That will facilitate the handling of the products and the dispatch of the products. Generally speaking, products online should be innovative, so that they are attractive to the customer. The customer sees something that they would not see perhaps in the local shops. They see a product which is designed differently or has different attributes, and it becomes attractive as a consequence. And the customers want to feel that they're part of a global experience, that these same products that they can purchase online could be purchased right around the world. So they're sharing their similarities with people around the world. It's a global appeal. But also, the products could be niche products. There can be a niche product may not survive in a local shopping arena because too few people will purchase it. So it's niche. But when a niche product is put online, it's no longer niche. It's now appealing to the world. And instead of having few purchasers, as in the case of the local community, now the same product may enjoy vast numbers of people interested in it because of its global appeal, its global marketplace. The third factor listed by IBM is the product needs to be known, a known brand, so the customers will be trusting. Ideally, even though the customers are educated and prepared to take risks and so on, at the same time they like to know what the brand is. They like to know that the brand is reliable, it's trustworthy, that they're not going to have trouble when they make purchases online. So ideally the brand should be recognizable. Fourth, an attractive internet product should be easy to distribute globally. So even though purchasers may live on the other side of the world, there should be ways of sending the product securely to that address so it won't get lost, or even worse still, customers deny receiving it and try to defraud the company. But there should be mechanisms in the delivery system that require the recipient to sign for the receipt of the product, and this goes back to the person who dispatched it. So everybody in the whole chain has got confidence in the system. And an attractive internet product should also have should not have local non-internet distributors competing. Ideally, the internet products should stand out from what's available locally. They have a different appeal. They have an appeal in the global market. An attractive internet product will be neither expensive nor inexpensive. It should be about right. It's difficult to say what we mean by that, but if we consider, let's say, a pair of shoes which can be bought on the high street for, let's say, £100 or $100 or whatever, then we would expect to be able to find those shoes online cheaper. So they're good quality, but we'd expect, because of the less or the reduced overheads that the company has online, to be able to find the product cheaper online. But online shops can change their price frequently. It's difficult to change prices in a large store, a large high street store. Every item has to have a different price pinned on it, and all the records for the shop have to be updated, and the database has to be updated, and it's difficult. Whereas online, prices can be amended very quickly. There's also the benefit from existing publicity and advertising. Ironically enough, companies advertising their product, or companies on the high street advertising the product, may actually generate more sales online. Customers see the product, experience the product on the high street, and then go home and purchase it online where it's cheaper. The online businesses have a lower cost structure, as I said earlier, than the internet. So it's likely the case that the prices online will be cheaper. And there may be a lot of competition online because it's easy for anyone almost to set up an online shop and sell products, so that the price of the product is driven down. There are issues associated with that. For example, when people set up online shops, customers may not trust them. They want to see a trading history. Customers still want to measure the reliability of the sellers in traditional ways. They want to know how long they have been in business and what sort of feedbacks they're getting and so on. Finally, the market environment should allow anonymity for purchases. It should be the case that when someone purchases an item, that deal is anonymous. Not everybody should know that that person purchased it. So the web should afford a level of anonymity for purchases. The market environment should also be in growth rather than depression. It should be the case that the market is expanding, and this will encourage further expenditure and further interest in the medium. So if the internet is growing and there are more opportunities for sales and more reliability in terms of sales and of the people who participate in online selling, if that's the case, then there should be a good environment in which more customers will be brought into internet purchases. And the market environment should be developed in regions or in countries as well. Sometimes products are related to particular countries. Fashion styles may vary across the world. So the product should be developed in the domestic market and then offered for sale online. Finally, internet vendors must recognize cultural differences and language problems. engaging in global electronic commerce. There's always the problem of culture and language problems. Although technology is improving to help to bridge those gaps, it's still the case that sellers must be sensitive and buyers must make every effort to try and communicate effectively what they require. And in the event of problems, there should be some way of bridging culture and language problems and fixing the problem. Now, reaching internet customers. Well, traditional businesses rely on physical proximity and promotion directly to the customer. So traditional businesses, the business is up the road. It's on the high street. So it's physical proximity. It's geographic proximity. And the web has broken the link and has made promotion more complex. With the web, there is no proximity. The customer may go shopping and purchase from a seller, as I said earlier, on the other side of the world. So there is a vast difference between the two types of selling. Online customers must seek out the product every bit as much as the provider pushing the product. It's a two-way process. The customers must seek out the product and they must find the right product. They must use search engines and search for the product and locate the product and locate several vendors or sellers of that particular product. But likewise, the vendors, the sellers, must look for the customers. They must make their site easy to find. Early attempts at overcoming the complexity of online marketing was the development of hot lists. This was originally developed by Yahoo. A hot list was products grouped together, products which the people were interested in, that Yahoo had determined that these particular products were getting more hits than others. They were bundled together so that there were information about the products was available through the hot list. A hot list was a growth of products organized around a common theme. So it was a list of products and the growth of those products, how the products were developing and growing in the marketplace. And it was based around a common theme. Hot lists developed into shopping malls that are more structured and organized. So we have online shopping malls. We also have portals, which could be related to a particular district or a particular area that lists the shops in the area. Or we could have simply shopping malls in the sense of virtual shopping malls, clothing ones and electronics and so on. Malls tend to be financed by corporate sponsorship and advertising. Now, advertising to reach customers. Well, several types of advertising are employed on the web. Banner advertising are passive advertisements that are encountered by simply visiting the website. A banner normally goes across the top of the website, advertising the product, advertising the company. It's normally some artistic graphic, some well-designed graphic illustrating the products or the particular website. They're not popular and many suffer. Many do not have click-through. Live banners enable the surfer to receive information from the current site. But banners, well, it's a fashion online. It's not widely used anymore. Sometimes banners are not used. Perhaps images of products may be used instead. A more utilitarian use of the space. Often people who access sites wonder why there's a big graphic that they must download that doesn't seem to do anything. So there are issues about the use of banners. Live banners are more animated. They take longer to download and are expensive to develop. But some banners may have some degree of movement and hence become more attractive. The danger with having animated banners is that they become boring and more attuned to the use of almost childlike techniques to develop customers and bring customers in. It's there's nothing so much entertaining. Sometimes people want to go onto the site to buy a product. They don't want to go onto the site to look at the banner changing colours. Premier advertising sites revolve around portals and shopping malls and search engines. Generally speaking, the greater nowadays is the use of search engines. People do their search, and when they find sites that they like, they bookmark the sites, and that's it, done. So individuals create their own lists of sites that they like to visit. Advertising is sold using three methods. Flat rate advertising. This involves a flat fee to cover the advertisement over a specified time period. It does not refer to effectiveness or visits. So sometimes advertisements can be placed on sites and a flat rate is charged. It simply says you may place your banner or you may place an advertisement on a site and there is a flat rate to be charged for its placement. So if the advertisements on the home page, it may cost more. If it's on the second page, less, and so on. It depends on where it's placed, but there is a flat rate for it. It could be based on the cost per thousand presentations model. The fee is based on the number of times the advertisement is viewed. So how many hits does the site get? The more hits the site gets, the more the advertisement will cost. So placing an advertisement on a site where the site's getting a lot of hits, that will be more expensive. A good example of this is YouTube. People who wish to advertise on YouTube have to pay because of the popularity of the videos that are being offered. So the more popular the videos, the more the advertisements cost. There could be click-through advertisements. In this case, the fee is based on the number of times the advertisement is clicked. Clicking on an advertisement takes the customer to the advertising page. So it could be that advertisements are charged on the number of times that the advertisement is clicked, which will take the viewer to the particular advertisement or to a different site, the site where the product is central theme of that site. Sometimes web designers, when dealing with this, they make the click open a second window to keep the original one in front of the viewer. So when the viewer is closing browser windows, they'll still come back to the original site. It'll still be there. But click-through is another way of charging for advertisements. Satisfying customer needs. Well, the web enables interaction in richer ways than simply advertising. Some sites may require registration, and these details enable the providers to target customers and push appropriate products and services. So it may be that by getting people to sign up to sites and perhaps getting them to fill out very basic forms, a type of targeting can take place so that they may receive promotional emails, or they may receive contact with the businesses more directly. The sites also enable feedback and live contact. Many sites have members of staff available through help desks and customer contact desks. They have real members of staff who are willing to answer specific questions and give guidance to potential purchasers. Online grocery shoppers. Well, many online shoppers are time poor. They like the convenience of shopping online. So many people who shop online are people who perhaps have demanding jobs, don't have a lot of time to go shopping, so they shop during their lunch break, perhaps in the office. Online grocery shopping for the following reasons. Now, online grocery shopping is developed because it avoids the crowds at supermarkets. People don't have to drive to the supermarket and park their car and get a trolley and do their own shopping, get in the queue and pay at the till and so on. So simply by going online and ticking the boxes of the products they want and having it delivered at a time that suits them gets rid of a lot of the issues for people who are time poor. As I said, it reduces parking costs and they don't have to handle the goods, so it saves time. It also reduces impulse buying. When we go to supermarkets, we may buy products simply because they look nice, or we haven't seen it before. It's an impulse purchase. We didn't plan to buy it. But if you're shopping online, you tend to have more discipline. And it's convenience. It's just the convenience of homeline shopping. Delivery at set convenient times as well. That's important. Now, customer relations. Well, customer relations management is vital in the evolution of internet commerce. It's important that the customers have good relationships with the business and have a good experience when they go shopping. So it's important to develop the same when we deal online. It's developing an affinity between providers and customers in online commerce. So it's important. In the same way as when we go to a supermarket, we bought a product that is faulty, we can return the product, get our money back. Online, the same type of arrangement should apply. So the customers feel confident in their purchases, and that will facilitate the further growth of the internet as a means of shopping. So a number of products have been developed to try and simplify online commerce. For example, registering on sites so that the webmaster and the online people in the shop, the people who deal with the online customers, they know who they're dealing with. But also publishing newsletters and keeping the customers informed about what products are on sale, what promotions are available, and so on. Generating repeat business is essential for the success of online businesses. It's essential that customers come back and make more purchases. If they don't, if it's a one-off, then this form of business will fade away. If customer relations break down, a policy of quickly responding to address the issue is important. It's absolutely vital that customers have good experiences online. and that the resources are made available by the shop to ensure that online customers are treated well and they enjoy the experience of shopping online with that particular shop. Now, some of the issues that customers may have, or they may have, there may be issues about the adequacy of resources to deal with problems. If a lot of customers have issues online, then will the shop have the online resources to deal with those problems? The business also needs to have a clear statement of procedure. It needs to tell customers how to proceed if they're unhappy about a purchase or an experience they've had. And it should ensure that fairness, and there's also a right of appeal, that the customers are not dismissed out of hand, or also that the customers are bringing legitimate queries and points to bear. And the customers may not be the innocent parties after all. So it's important that there is fairness in dealing with customers, and the customers are fair in dealing with the business. Where there is a breakdown, there should be some appeal mechanism. There should be some assistance for those making complaints. The onus is on the business to make it easy for customers to make complaints and to deal with the complaints and find a just and fair solution, an equitable solution. And the business should be responsive and sympathetic to complaints. They must not dismiss the complaints out of hand. They should deal with the complaints in a fair manner. And in the event of a complaint being upheld, there should be adequate remedies available. There should be compensation available, not just for the product, the replacement of the product, but perhaps for the time the customer has taken to highlight the issue and go through the various procedures. Some sort of compensation perhaps may be in order. The business should ensure that data is systematically collected so that long-term solutions may be implemented. The business should be always on the lookout for feedback from customers, trying to improve the situation so that there are less complaints in the future. And it's important to constantly monitor and review procedures so as to minimize problems and to ensure that there is a growth in this sector, that the sector will develop and grow, and that problems have been anticipated and dealt with before they even arise. Now, database marketing strategies. Well, the use of database is directed at satisfying customers' needs. It's a facility that promotes customer relations. Direct marketing focuses on promotion only and relies on advertising to generate a measurable response. So the use of databases is a good way of collecting information for a start, and then codifying the information and saving it on a database, indexing it so that it can be interrogated quite conveniently, and as more information is collected, pictures or understandings of issues can be worked out faster and dealt with faster by the business, because the database is a collection of knowledge bits, knowledge that's been picked up from customers' contacts, from complaints, from issues, and in dealings with customers. So the database contains all of this knowledge, and that can be used to refine the approaches that the business adopts in dealing with customers which will give customers better experience in the long run. Database marketing focuses on 4 elements in the marketing mix: targeting, tailoring, tying, and tapping. Now these are 4 that are not normally dealt with in the context of the marketing mix. We don't normally hear of tying and tapping and tailoring. However, let's see what they're about. Targeting. This involves micro-marketing and fine-tuning of customer segments to determine who should be targeted in promotions. It's important that the database throws up the type of customer that typically buys particular products, and the type of customer can then be targeted. So the effort is focused, and there's a greater chance of success in the marketing effort. Tailoring. This involves adapting the offer to suit the customer's needs. So the offer should be adapted so that it meets the customer's requirements. That's important. So the customer is not taking something because there's no choice. Because they're dealing online does not mean that they cease to be discriminating and demanding customers. They still have requirements. They still want products which meet specifically their requirements. So the products should be tailored to meet those requirements. Tying. This involves building permanent customer relationships by developing trust and satisfaction. You're tying the customer to the product. You're tying the customer to the website or to the business, the online business. They're tying it because they have built good experiences in the past. They have built trust and satisfaction. So the customer becomes tied to the product. The customer trusts the product, trusts the business, and wants to come back. Tapping. Well, this means widening the appeal of the site by using recommendations and referrals from existing customers. The business taps into a wider community. It uses its existing customers to make referrals, and it tries to offer them incentives to refer the site on, perhaps offering them discounts if they bring in new members of the site. So for each new member they get a certain discount or they get some privilege. So what the site is doing, what the business is doing, is they're tapping in to new customers through the existing ones. Customer security. Well, fear over security is the biggest problem facing e-commerce or e-business. Customer security is paramount. People want to trust that when they enter their credit card details that it's safe, that their identity is not going to be stolen, or that there is safety in what they're doing. Security threats fall into 2 categories: threats against the individual account and data, and threats against a whole database or databases. So security threats might be against individuals. Perhaps the use of credit cards means the credit cards could be cloned, or information could be stolen off the credit cards, or cyber criminals could use phishing techniques where they're trying to pick up data about the individual and then use that data to make illegal purchases. Or it could be they simply want to get into the company's database and see what's there. They might want to damage the database, or they might want to steal some information out of the database. Customers worry about the theft of credit card details, and this inhibits the expansion of online commerce. It is quite risky in some respects entering credit card details and sending them over telephone lines and fiber optics and through servers and so on. there is a lot of trust involved in entering credit card details and hoping that the details will be secure. Even though there are many layers of security that the internet now offer, it's still an act of faith. Some customers keep a special credit card, for example a low limit credit card for online transactions. That's quite a sensible thing to do, so that if the credit card is hacked, there's not much to be taken on it. To allay customers' fears, credit card companies and the banks are working to develop encrypted transactions. There's also secure socket layers. SSL has become the de facto security standard. However, there are other systems such as virtual wallet software which uses secure electronic transactions, SET, encryption. A virtual wallet is loaded onto PCs and may be topped up when required. The secure socket layer seems to be the most widely used. But all the time, internet companies and security companies are looking for ways to make the whole process more secure. Unfortunately, criminals are also looking at the same systems and trying to break them. So it cuts two ways. These are some of the many ideas that we need to consider when we deal with e-customers. There are many points in this class, and it's worth stopping the video, going back over it, stopping it, wind it forward, backwards, make your own notes, and research your own notes as well. Make the notes off here and then follow up by some online research of the various points. That's all I'm going to deal with for the moment, so I'm going to say thank you for watching.